I would say the main thing I've learned is to be purposeful. Purposeful in your meetings, purposeful in your feedback, purposeful with your time management. If you put the term purposeful in front of a lot of things, you become a lot more efficient. I mean, that's really the biggest takeaway I have.
When I get here first thing in the morning, I spend a half hour and I write out, the things that are my goals to accomplish that week, and that really helps me keep on track. Where before it was one of those things where I didn't have a list I could cross off. It's almost like a game, But before I didn't have the list I could cross off. If somebody calls, okay, I take care of their thing. Okay, what? Now I forgot what I was started on, and then all of a sudden becomes Friday. And it's like, crap, I was supposed to do this and this and this and this and this. Where now if I have that to-do list, like as soon as I'm finish that immediate fire that might be there, I can continue working on these longer-term goals. And it also gives me a chance to kind of do, at the end of the week, I then do a reflection of like, what didn't I get accomplished, so I can start to build in my mind what I need to do and what steps I need to do in order to accomplish those things.
Our journey began back in February, on a cold day at the Kellogg Center. This is when we met our coaches Gary, Susan, and Sean. For the next 9 months, they instructed us on how these new tools worked, and patiently coached us on how we could better personally benefit from applying them. We surveyed our cohort to determine what tools resonated the most with them, and which ones they've been able to put to use right away. As we present some of these top tools from the survey, we'll also show you some short interviews from those using them.
Sometimes, especially when you're dealing one-on-one with an employee, it helps to remember these skills so that you can step back a little bit and do more active listening, because when you listen better, I think you can help set the direction with that next question you can ask them. Rather than trying to give them an answer, you can help lead them to their own answer.
50% of the respondents listed feedback as the top ITLP tool that they were able to walk away with and immediately put to use. The ability to give positive, constructive feedback is hard, but it is invaluable to those receiving it. We're collectively looking to create a culture at MSU where feedback is welcome, where people can be authentic and transparent at the same time. We're also learning to make feedback more specific by focusing on behavior, impact, and feeling. In discussing feedback, Vinnie Gore told us, as a leader, sometimes people tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. You need people who can be honest with you. About a third of our cohort said that the 4 I's were the next important tool that they learned, but just as important was what our presence conveys as leaders. The 4 I's is a method for meeting and influencing people. It consists of initiating a conversation, inquiring about the other person, investing in the relationship, and then influencing it. We were reminded that our presence is felt at all times through our entry, energy, engagement, and ethos. The first impressions exercise proved to be a real eye-opener for some in our cohort. In speaking about presence, Shelley Applebaum told us to have a voice and know when to use it. Bring purposeful, well-thought-out suggestions to the table. Know you may not always get credit, and be okay with that if it's for the betterment of the organization. A quarter of us said that networking was the next top takeaway from our program. We were taught that relationships are the new currency in this modern day. The network we built through the ITLP lays the foundation for the future as we create an even larger support network across MSU that will strengthen the campus community going forward. The social community is really an extension of the work community. Our networks are much stronger and broader across MSU because of the ITLP. A third of the respondents said the use of the 3 lenses was one of the top applicable lessons. We learned how to take in broader perspectives, how to use the strategic design, the political system, and the cultural system of this organization to view different situations and actions in different ways. We discovered how we as leaders can influence and change the organization by becoming architects of strategy, builders of coalitions, and articulators of vision. Over 15% of the cohort said leading and influencing change were top takeaways for them.
That influencing is even more important in working and developing and collaborating with folks, because you have to help people see and value what they need is actually to come together with someone else to together influence the outcome of something. And the tools that I learned inside the class, I use on a regular basis. Much of the same way that, you may have learned to walk, you didn't really understand how valuable it was until you really saw how important it can be. So absolutely influencing, critical.
Change is a lot like a river current. It's always there, but you can't always see it. Everyone is in a constant state of change, even though we look static at times. Providing leadership means focusing on the strategic. It requires us to balance the immediate with the important. We need to look for ways to be strategic, even in daily tasks, and to be aware of influencing and leading any change. When it comes to change, David Gift told us, when you lead, you have to be comfortable in your own skin. We're all going to make mistakes. Choose what kinds of mistakes you're willing to make. Just like a Spartan warrior would go into battle with his helmet, spear, and shield as his tools, we take with us the leadership tools of feedback, presence, networking, influencing change, and the 3 lenses. We become true equipped Spartan leaders. Why? Because Spartans will.
Spartans! Prepare for glory!